Welcome to Dwellings, all you retro horror and vintage comic book fans. I'm cartoonist Jay Stevens, and these videos are a peek at the inspirations and influences behind my cute, creepy comic books.
You think you can show me something?
From ancient Egyptian Ushabtis to the creepy street puppets of Prague, I've been fascinated and a little creeped out by anthropomorphic, inanimate dolls and puppets that appear to be imbued with life. Pediophobia is the fear of dolls, and puppophobia the fear of puppets, and horror films have been exploring and exploiting these fears for many years.
Just because some sagging bitch of an original drops her pants for you. Shut up, Corky, you're doing so good. You ain't better than the garbage man. Ah!
Hey, Ben. How do you like it? I think it's going to be terrific.
With their lifelike movements, puppets invoke feelings of the uncanny, which is why they've played such a big part in the magical storytelling of so many cultures. From Ovid's Metamorphosis to the biblical Golem and E.T.A. Hoffman's The Sandman, we find stories of creators who imbue their creations with life all over the world. Ancient Hindu philosophers even imagined God Almighty as a puppeteer. And from Wayang Kulit to Punch and Judy, puppet shows can reenact tales meant to unsettle and educate the audience. Growing up in the 1970s and 80s, frightening toys, dolls, and puppets were everywhere in pop culture. Living toy horror certainly came into its own in this era, with well-known classics like Trilogy of Terror, Child's Play, and Puppet Master. A cult 80s favorite of mine is the psycho horror Pin, about a talking medical dummy.
I think we have another case of the flu here, Doctor.
Pin, it's very hard to hear a heartbeat when someone is talking.
Sorry, Doctor, but I'll wager this boy has a temperature of at least 104.
How much would you like to wager?
How about a wool sweater? It gets cold sitting here naked all the time.
It's a bet.
But the tradition is much older. I highly recommend the British post-war portmanteau horror Dead of Night, a very influential film.
I knew you wouldn't leave me, Hugo. I knew you'd come back.
Not for long, my boy. Not for long. You're going to stop in jail for years and years and years and years. That wouldn't suit me.
But you'll tell them the truth. You'll tell them it wasn't my fault.
The 1960s had their own memorable living dolls, of course.
A wooden doll, strangely, terrifyingly human. Plaything of the devil, capable of such evil that only a cage can restrain its diabolical desires.
And then we have terrifying real-life haunted dolls, like Robert, the cursed century-old little sailor who giggles and moves around in Key West, Florida, the equally old Okiku who resides in a Hokkaido shrine and whose hair continues to grow, the legendarily possessed Annabelle, made famous by paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, and Brisbane's creepy Let It Me Out.
Weren't the only ones to sense something strange in the doll. Bramble, the family dog, attacked it on sight, and still does, 9 years after it was carried back to the Waltons' home in Brisbane.
Effigies, dolls, automatons, and especially puppets can give their creators the powerful feelings of summoning life, of possessing the inanimate, or of temporarily becoming someone or something else. The new story in issue 3 of my cute as hell horror comic series Dwellings is titled Quiet Suki, and explores this theme of phantom puppets. When Charlie finds her grandmother's discarded childhood hand puppet, Suki begins to talk to her, and leads her on a search through the woods for her missing grandma. A story with more than a little Grimm Brothers gruesome fairy tales mixed in. It begs the old question about who is in control, the puppet or the puppeteer. These days, many people live entire second lives online through their avatars, further confusing the line between real and imagined, life and illusion. We breathe life into our digital dolls, put our whole selves into them, and often find our virtual puppets capable of more glorious and terrible things than our real lives allow, there is still much black magic in the uncanny.